Welcome into another episode of Room for Improvement, the podcast. And I feel like every single time we have opened a Room for Improvement podcast here on WIT.com, we have done it by saying welcome into. And I think we should probably come up with a different way to open our podcast because that's kind of repetitive. But that's just a thought from me, Josh Zavadil, and I'm sitting next to Sebastian Posey, my co-host for the evening. How are you doing tonight, Sebastian?
I'm doing very well, Joshua.
Why did you say that in an NPR-esque voice?
I don't know. I was feeling very NPR with it.
Okay.
It's just it's the vibe. It's the mood I'm feeling right now, man. It's just, it's a good feeling.
Okay. Well, glad you're feeling that way.
I got some really smooth jazz if you want to listen to that right after this word from our sponsors.
We don't have any sponsors. That's not the truth. Sitting across the table from us is Antwon Ervin of Discover Birmingham. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. How are you guys?
I am still alive, and that's really all anybody can ask for, right?
Well, fun stuff. I'm excited to be here with you guys tonight.
Yeah, well, we have you in here, obviously, because you're with Discover Birmingham, the city that we all reside in and are happy to be in. And it's a neat website that everybody should check out, discoverbirmingham.org. How did you come to, get involved with that? Like, what was that process like when you started up this whole thing?
Yeah, it's funny. It's really odd. I have always been really passionate and really excited about the city of Birmingham. And it's one of those things, just as far back as I can remember, I've been I love Birmingham, and I couldn't really tell you why. And so I guess the only thing that's changed for me over the years is that now I'm becoming able to tell you why I love the city of Birmingham so much. And so just about a year and a half ago, I was having a conversation with my brothers. They love to shop in Atlanta. And so we're talking and we're having this conversation that we do every so often. Man, I'm telling you, Atlanta is so much cooler than Birmingham and just all of this. And I was like, you know what? I'll show you that Birmingham is awesome and has some really cool stuff to offer. I'm going to start a website called Discover Birmingham. And so here we go. And so, I just wanted to offer a tool for people to be able to use. To find, hey, what's happening this weekend. They can find out what restaurants they should go and eat at. And so it's just something I wanted to put together. Lots of fun, though.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you bring that up because I think over the last few years, Birmingham's really started growing in a lot of respects and avenues. You have Regents Field, you have Railroad Park, and that's just that one area. Why do you think Birmingham is growing and the rate they're growing at?
Yeah, I think that something really cool is happening in Birmingham. I think that people are beginning to kind of come into a self-awareness about the city of Birmingham. I think Birmingham has been one of the hidden jewels of the South for a really long time. And it's funny because I believe that if people in the city of Birmingham felt as positive about Birmingham as some of the outliers do, or people who don't live here in Birmingham, there would be even more of an excitement about Birmingham. There's been numerous stories from Washington Post and New York Times, just all kind of people, and even here recently, the National Geographic doing stories focusing on the city of Birmingham. And so I think that as people begin to realize that the city has a lot to offer and a lot of potential, people are starting to begin to walk into some of that potential. And it's something that's really, really catching on here in the city.
And I know a lot of the stuff that you preview on our website for us and kind of a partnership with us is a lot of the entertainment stuff that goes on throughout the weekend, and something I wanted to bring up and ask you. I know there's been some discussions that there's a group in Birmingham trying to bring a soccer team to Birmingham. For you, somebody who loves this city and has been here, and you're enjoying being able to see all this growth, do you think personally that that's a viable thing for the city, that it might be able to hold and be able to sustain a minor league soccer team in the future?
Yeah, I really do. I really do think that that's something that's going to be a viable option for Birmingham, because there is a part of the renaissance that's happened in Birmingham here the past couple of years is there has been a deeper sense of community in Birmingham, and people are at a place where they're just excited to get out and be around other people. I've often said, and I really do believe that one of the greatest assets of Birmingham is our people. You know, the people of Birmingham are absolutely incredible. And so, which is a part of why we promote the events we promote. You know, you're going to lean towards like festivals and that type of stuff where you're going to be building community. And I think a soccer team in Birmingham would be just another great place to kind of center meeting your neighbors, hanging out with people, hanging out with friends, just something else that you can do where we can rally around and love on the people of Birmingham and Birmingham herself, just like they've done at Regents Field, and they've sold it out over and over and over again. I mean, we've topped numbers that were set when Jordan played for the Barons. I mean, and it's just over and over, but people are just looking for a way to connect with other people and with the things that are happening here in Birmingham. So for that reason, I really do think that a soccer team would be incredibly viable here in Birmingham.
And even though it's soccer, I think we've seen just the culture of the South and how much people in this state love rallying behind a team, period, be it baseball, like you mentioned, or Alabama or Auburn. We love having that common vested interest in a team. And I personally think and am hopeful that the city will be able to see that in the near future.
Let's face it, like, we're in the South and we're competitive. We like to win. And so this will just be another team that we can all get behind and see them do well, you know. And, you know, I think people in the South are really loyal to their fans. And so to have a team here in Birmingham that we can represent, I think they're going to get a lot of support. I think, and because of that, I think they're going to do really, really well, because we like to win here in the South and especially in Birmingham.
You're definitely right on that. I think you know, being someone from Birmingham my whole life too, you see this trend of people really jumping on board with something. But in years past, it seemed like when something would kind of come in, you'd get this great groundswell at the beginning, and then it would just kind of teeter off and just completely die. When Regents Field opened last year, it was a huge deal, and it continued throughout the entire year. And even going into this year, it feels like even though the team isn't as good as they were last year, you know, they won the Southern League Championship, it doesn't matter. It's become an event. It's become a destination. Do you see that with everything else in the city? Do you see the fact that this time, unlike previous years, the community's not going away? In fact, it seems like they're continuing to get stronger with every new thing that comes in.
I'd like to coin the term a Birmingham experience. I think that
we're gonna get our lawyers on the trademark, Josh.
Exactly. You heard it here first, guys. But I think that you have elements now that are coming on the scene in Birmingham that are becoming a part of the everyday Birmingham experience. Right now, it's normal. As you plan out what you're doing for the next week or so, you're probably going to go to a Barons game. You're probably going to go by Good People and grab a drink after work. You're probably going to go by Railroad Park to work out this evening at 6, you know, if it's during the week. And so these elements are becoming just a part of the everyday, just a day in the life of a Birminghamian. And it is, again, like I said, it's coming back to, it is a part of the Birmingham experience, you know, and so I think it would fit right in line with that, you know, and just kind of become a part of. That's just what we do here in Birmingham, you know.
And I think it's cool too to add on to that it's not only that they'll build these new things, especially in that area, but adding like the little nuance of the lights under the bridges. It's not it's not an overwhelming change or something, but it's such a cool little added feature that when you tack it on to everything else, it just makes it really pop. It makes that area just seem so much cooler than years past where it was just, nothing but dilapidated buildings and just kind of a rundown vibe. Now all of a sudden it's this really huge, cool community vibe just in that area.
Yeah, and you know, light rails has really been a great addition to that part of town, and again, that's just another element of the Birmingham experience now. And so when people come to Birmingham, it's just kind of one of those things like, oh, you need to drive under the light rail so you can see the lights, or we need to stop there and take a selfie or a picture or whatever, you know. And it's really really cool to kind of see all of that unfold. Now, you know, let's be real for a second here and state that Birmingham has a long way to go. Absolutely has a long way to go. But I'm super excited to just see the progress that's happened and to see the support that people have kind of just jumped behind and really grab a hold of and kind of take ownership of this thing I like to call the Birmingham experience.
Hashtag the Birmingham experience.
Yes.
So you have been previewing weekend things to do on the weekends for us and for your website, and I'm curious, as somebody who sits at home. I watch these videos when I'm at work, but I sit at home and do nothing on the weekends because there's nothing better to embrace than
Josh. Why is this?
Because I am a lazy man and don't like spending money. But I am curious. You've been able to preview a lot of these things. How many of them have you been able to attend? And of the ones you've attended, what has been your favorite event so far this year?
Oh, man, that's tough.
Because I know you probably go to a lot of them.
Josh will hit you with the hardball questions.
Well, come on.
I went to school to ask questions like that.
Yeah, that's going to be our promo. He asks the tough questions.
Yes. So I do go to a lot of the events that we talk about, and hopefully, you know, it's at a point now where I've seen a lot of people. You know, I meet people now, and she's like, you know, I've seen you at a lot of different things, but I hadn't quite got your name yet. You know, and I'll try to rock the Discover Birmingham shirt, which, by the way, let me go on record and say I own more than one of these, and so
I've only seen you in that.
Yes,
not in that one.
Yeah, and that's the same thing from other people. So I own multiple Discover Birmingham shirts. So yeah, I try to keep it clean, you know. Gosh, which one is my favorite? I'll tell you this. I've got a couple of favorites because I'm gonna cheat and do it that way.
Okay.
First, yeah, I know, right? Probably one of my favorite events. One of the events that really inspired me to start Discover Birmingham was Birmingham Art Walk down in the Loft District. Before I started Discover Birmingham, because that's what I'm doing really with this website and with the stuff I'm previewing, all this stuff. I myself am. I am discovering Birmingham, and so I'm finding out about the hidden jewels. I don't necessarily claim to know about all of them, you know, but I'm finding them myself, and kind of as I discover it, I try to report it and let other people know about it. Like, hey, I found something else cool here in Birmingham. But that's kind of what happened with me when I went to Birmingham Art Walk for the first time a couple of years ago. I couldn't remember the last time I got out downtown Birmingham and walked the streets of Birmingham. It is unbelievable. It is totally different experience from just driving through or seeing the skyline from the interstate or whatever. But to get down and walk in the midst of the buildings, you know, in the Loft District down 20th North, you know, it's a really, really beautiful city. And so I think Birmingham Art Walk and other events like it, like right now, they've started Birmingham Art Crawl. That is every first Thursday, and it's down in the Loft District, and you have just a variety of different store vendors or storefronts, I should say, that open up and allow artists to come in. And this is the first Thursday of every month. And so I think that type of stuff is absolutely incredible and just adding such a depth to the fabric of Birmingham and you know, to the Birmingham experience. And so yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. And so Birmingham Art Walk was kind of one of those events that really opened my eyes up to kind of, man, you know, this is a really, really cool place once you get to know her. Another one of my favorite events is Birmingham Restaurant Week, which I guess I don't know if that's technically an event, but yeah, so it happens.
Counts.
Yeah, it has to count. It's on the calendar. And so it happens for I think maybe 10 days or so. It's actually coming up here in a couple of weeks. It happens in August every year. But this is if you're not familiar with Birmingham Restaurant Week, it's an initiative where many different restaurants, all the different tiers from a lunch cafe to a fine dining restaurant will offer like have a separate menu kind of with discounted meals, and so you can go in and get that experience for a discounted price. And so it's a great opportunity to really explore and discover some really cool restaurants here in Birmingham that you may not have gone to for whatever reason. And so it's kind of a week where you just need to set aside a little extra cash and just go out and try as many restaurants as you can in that 10-day period. And so I love the idea of that. And so those are a couple of my my favorites that are coming up here pretty soon.
Well, going off of that, we are about to go into the month of August. You've already talked about Birmingham Restaurant Week, but there are just a multitude of things going on in the month of August in Birmingham. What are a few things you think people should go ahead and put on their calendar now for the whole month? Just things maybe even at the end of the month that they need to know about now.
Yeah. So the first event that I think that I'm really excited about is Sidewalk Film Festival. Guys, like Sidewalk has grown so much in the past few years. Like it's unbelievable. And it's happening. It's going to be in a couple of weeks. It's August 22nd to the 24th, and so that's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so I mean, they're flying in a lot of filmmakers to come in. They've got a lot of great shows, a lot of great films. One I'm particularly excited about is In Search of General Tso. Okay, and so the premise behind it is, why is General Tso's chicken sold in every American Chinese restaurant in America? Like, has anybody ever thought about that? Like, and then who is General Tso's and why?
I have wondered that.
Who hasn't wondered who's General Tso's? And furthermore, why does he have a chicken dish named after him? Like, I mean,
there's probably a Wikipedia page for that, which we could have easily just gone to instead of thinking about that, instead of counting sheep while I try to sleep. But
yeah.
But
those are good questions.
But someone's made a movie, and now you can see the movie.
It's a great documentary, and I've seen the trailer, guys.
It's a
promise.
documentary.
Yes, it's a whole documentary, a feature-length documentary.
Fun.
Dude, it was. First of all, you're gonna be hungry when you get done watching it. But it's super cool, and so that's just one in particular that I'm really excited about. But there are many great films that are going to be playing at Sidewalk. Another really cool event that's coming up. Actually. This weekend is Secret Stages. And I'm so excited that Secret Stages still happens in Birmingham because it's really a Southeast event. They bring in upcoming artists from just all over the region here, Atlanta, and just you name it. And we've got artists coming from that area. But it's some up and coming artists that have an established fan base. So we're not talking about, this is more than just a garage band, which garage bands are awesome, but you're gonna see a little bit different style than that. But yeah, and so it's gonna be covering several different venues, a ton of different artists, and it's happening this weekend. And so you can get like weekend passes and a bunch of different like hidden parties and stuff like that.
So since you're in the know with a lot of things, is there any way you can just tell us right now on this podcast what bands and where they're going to be?
Promised Land South from Nashville, Tennessee is playing this weekend. I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to check my resources here.
Do what we could have done.
Yes.
Well, no, because it helps the promo, because now we have you asking hard questions, and then you're revealing secrets. I mean, this thing's writing itself pretty much.
I'm just saying,
It's not actually writing anything, technically.
Stop being so literal, Josh.
This is audio.
That's awesome.
But
stop dashing my dreams.
That's what I'm here for.
Nice. But yeah, Baghouse from Athens, Georgia, Body of Light from Nashville. Gosh, there's so many. Glories from right here in Birmingham, Alabama. Future Elevators from here in Birmingham, Alabama. gosh, I mean, the list it goes on and on.
That band name has me thinking now. Like, what is a future elevator going to be like?
I have to find out.
That's great, yeah. So it's gonna be a rocking weekend in down, and that's gonna be primarily in the Loft District there. And like I said, you've got to check the website for more details, because there are a ton of venues and a ton of bands. So it's gonna be a lot of fun for sure. And so, yeah, definitely a great date weekend for sure. Go out to Secret Stages and try some restaurants. It's gonna be a lot of cool stuff going on downtown.
I'll be sure to go on a date. Yeah, that'll happen. That'll happen.
Hold on. No. I'm not letting that one pass. The fact that there was so much of an emphasis on just go on a date and leave it at that. Not even talking about Secret Stages. Just go on a date.
That is great.
I feel like there's got to be a segment in here somewhere of instead of like Discover Birmingham, it's Discover Josh.
Exactly. Like,
We're gonna get just make a dating show for Josh here.
Yes. Josh the Bachelor.
Yeah, on WIAT.com.
Absolutely.
That
All right,
sounds like
ladies,
a
so
horribly
sign up
awesome
now.
idea.
Oh, that's an awful idea.
That's an awful yet awesome idea.
Getting back on track, though, you have, as we've found, you have been to a lot of places in Birmingham. What is you may have more than one, but in most cities there's hidden gems that everybody should know about. I guess if they're a gem, and some people try and keep those things hidden, but for purposes of this podcast, what is a hidden gem that you think everybody should know about in Birmingham?
Okay, so this is a tough question, because
There it is again.
Well, and here's why. It's because
Best promo ever.
what's a hidden gem to some people, there's another group of people that's like, oh, I've been going there for years,
Yeah.
because there are people that know about it. But one really cool venue that I went to recently is the Garage Cafe. Have you guys been there before?
Yes.
Haven't heard of it.
It's amazing.
Oh my gosh, it is the coolest place ever. You walk in initially, and there's a bar right in front, and then you keep going, and there's like this incredibly, like, I don't even know what
It's like
the
the
word
secret
is.
garden almost.
It really
back there.
is. Like, you walk in and like there's this whole patio. There's these cool lights, these cool tables. Okay, so it used to be like a carport, and so it's surrounded by these carports that are like now just full of stuff. And like, I don't think anybody knows who the stuff belongs to. It's just there. Like, now it's a part of the decoration. But it is the coolest place to go for like lunch or even late night. I think they're open to probably midnight or so. I think the kitchen probably closes at 10. I'm pretty sure about that. And their sandwiches are incredible as well. Like, their sandwiches are really, really good. So the Garage Cafe is one of the recent, like, this is absolutely a really cool spot that you need to check out if you haven't already. And again, there's a group of people out there who've been going to the garage forever, but there's also a lot of people who have never heard of it.
Like myself.
Well, so when you get done at Secret Stages, you can take your date to the Garage Cafe.
Yeah. My invisible friend's going to love that.
Don't be so down on yourself,
That's great.
Josh.
Man. You can't recover from that.
I can't recover from that. No, and just to go with that, yes, it's a cool place in the sense that it is kind of like a lot of things in Birmingham. It's hidden a little bit.
I thought
it's,
you were about to ask him if there were any hidden dating websites in Birmingham.
I think you're wanting to ask that now because you were hoping I would, and since I didn't, you were gonna play it off
I'm not
like
projecting anything onto you.
I'll go ahead and tell you, I have no idea. I don't know about
Fine.
the dating sites.
I wouldn't join it. Asterisk.
Yet. You have thrown me completely so off track for the rest of this.
Well, that sounds a bit like a personal problem for you.
Pretty much.
Oh, so the hidden gem, I may have to go check out this weekend.
You do need to check it out. I agree with that one completely.
Yeah.
How long?
I give
have you
it
known
3.5 out of 4 rooms. Is that going to be we need a rating system for the room.
about it? We're coming up with so many things we're never going to remember the next time we have a podcast.
It's great though, you know?
I love it. You forget about it, and then you make up completely different ones the next time.
Yeah.
At some point, we're going to remember one of the ones we forgot about, and therefore that will make it a trend for us.
When did you first go to the Hidden Gem? I've already forgot the name.
The Garage.
The Garage, yeah.
I think I first went there about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. But it was something I never would have figured out. It was just, it happened to be a friend said, like a friend picked the place that night. And we went there, and
You don't find the Garage Cafe by accident. Like,
you?
no, you have to go there on purpose. Like,
pretty much, yeah. It's not, yeah. You're not
tucked
walking
away.
down the street to find that one. It's kind of tucked away over almost by like St. Vincent's. I guess.
On the backside of like Southtown, the housing projects there. I remember I took a buddy there a few weeks ago. And he was like, "Man, where are you taking me?"
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, just right. Like, I got this.
Yeah, it's the patio area though. It's cool because like you were saying, there's all those like the storefront things. And you can be out there, and I think it actually stays open past midnight. But you'll be out there late at night, and there's all these like empty stores just with a bunch of stuff in them, and it just becomes your conversation piece for the evening because you look at these things and there's stuff in them that are kind of creepy, but are kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly.
But definitely worth talking about in such a fun little area. But yeah, it's definitely, I 100% agree with that hidden gem.
Absolutely.
It's neat to see, as we've kind of talked about, all the good and great things going on in Birmingham, because I can remember as early as that's not correct, 2 or 3 years
Just
ago,
roll with it.
when I was in college, I never would have thought
The train has sailed.
that I wanted to live in Birmingham, or that I would even entertain the thought of enjoying living in Birmingham, because I'd visited here all my life, and I just thought it was a pretty meh city. But there really is a lot that this city has to offer, and I really think more people should know that this is not just a boring city in Alabama. There's a lot to do, and there's a lot of great things going on.
Yeah, and what's cool about that too is that the to get a little adultish on you a little bit, the housing market is responding to that with over 20 developments in the process right now, all for downtown Birmingham, from the Powell Avenue, the steel plant there that's going to be an entertainment area, to like just housing developments where they're going to do apartments and lofts. Like that number is 20 plus right now in for downtown, like proper, the center of Birmingham. And so that's super, super exciting to kind of see that response to what's happening. It's more than just, oh yeah, there's a concert here and there, but like this thing is really, really taking roots.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because I was in Avondale, the Avondale area yesterday, and that was a conversation I was having with a friend on how not only is the area growing, but now you're starting to see the housing come in, and I think that's going to be really the key factor to continue the success because now you have all this new stuff, you have all this growing amount of things to do. Well, now let's make sure we're getting more and more people into the city, and I think that might be the biggest difference going forward versus all those years of failure and trying to really spark interest. You're capitalizing on these areas that are seeing the boom, and you're bringing in new structures, you're bringing in new housing, and I just think that's going to probably be the key to keep it up.
Yeah, I believe so, because you've got to have a place to put these people, and so I think once you start to respond to that and people start to fill in, and it only continues, and it only grows and gets bigger.
There was a noise we just
something
heard
was
here
about to come through the wall.
in the studio. It sounds like Jumanji's happening in the WA.
Not again.
I know, here we go again.
Oh, goodness. Well, that website is discoverbirmingham.org. You should all visit that frequently, maybe even bi-hourly.
Absolutely.
And
always being updated.
Check it out. Check out the calendar. It's got a list of events that are happening all throughout. I mean, that's updated all the time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Check that out. It's a great website, a great resource for finding out what you should be doing in Birmingham or have available to do in Birmingham. And then on the weekends, on Fridays, there will be a video on WIAT.com with Antwon talking about what there is to do in that specific weekend, and we appreciate you doing that for us. It's been great to see that kind of take off as well.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to put that together for you guys.
can the people listening to this follow you anywhere on social media?
Yeah, absolutely. We're on Twitter and Instagram. That's Discover Beham. And we're on Facebook as well under facebook.com/Discover Birmingham.
So you should absolutely do that, everybody who's listening to this. Sebastian, can anybody follow you anywhere on the internet? Not that they would want to, but can they if they would want to?
Well, I encourage it. I'm a friendly guy. I have my moments. But yeah, if they want to follow along in the journey that I call life, they can find me on twitter.com @SebastianPosey.
It's funny that you say if they want to follow along in the journey that I call life. You tell them to follow you on a social media account where you put nothing that pertains to your actual life on it.
It's not true.
You post a lot of stuff. I mean, I do the same thing. I post about Homeward Bound at least once a week.
Is that not a part of your life?
It's okay.
Homeward Bound? Wait, what?
It is the greatest film in the history of film.
That is so great.
We actually we had this discussion today it's supposed to be guilty pleasures, but then it ultimately became a debate of how our guilty pleasures are actually in reality the greatest films ever made, at least to us.
Yeah, and the second Homeward Bound was the worst thing ever created, and I don't know why they did it.
And we all agree on that one.
Oh, goodness. If you would like to follow me on the social media, you can follow me at Joshua Zavadil. That's Joshua Smith. Just kidding. That's Joshua Zavadil. That's how you spell my last name. Please don't add me on Facebook because that would be a little bit weird, and you probably can't find me because I've veiled my Facebook. So, well, thank you for listening to this episode of... I knew I wasn't going to get through with that.
No.
That's great.
No.
And thank you for listening to this episode of the Room for Improvement podcast, where you should know that we are not a fan of talkative men named Norm. That's a joke about social norms.
I feel like I know I'm stepping on the outro. I don't even care at this point. You're basically the most antisocial social media person ever.
That's great.
Is it a character at this point?
I don't know. I can't tell.
That is so great.
Oh, man. And if you've made it this far, more power to you. Check out discoverbirmingham.org. We will see you next time on the Room for Improvement podcast.